Okay, Mr. Cool back here, Christian. Wait. Let me change that. Mr. Old Fart Cool. Is that a little better?
I like that.
Yeah. Okay. You like that? You're supposed to say you're not that old. Jesus, I gotta coach you up. I'll do it. That's fine. Yeah. He likes
For
that.
free?
What's the matter with you? What?
Are you going to charge me for the coach?
Charge you? I was going to give you 150. You blew that on the last
No, I
podcast.
owe you 100.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm sure I'll get that too. Yeah, it's in the mail, right?
Yeah, send it in last week.
You send it in. Okay. All right. I'm going to talk to you, everybody, about small business, something I've been in for 35 years. It's been a long time. I'm in the eyewear sunglass business, luxury sunglasses, Gucci, Versace, and the best of the best, Maui Jim. Don't forget that. Polarized plus two.
Why are Maui Jim the best?
Because it's the best polarized lens, the highest clarity, rated the highest clarity. It has a waterproof coating, anti-reflective coating, super high clarity, best warranty in the business. Really great. Great lenses.
What are your top three?
Top three?
Yeah.
Sellers?
Favorites. No,
Fa-
personal favorites.
Personal? Well, right now I'm wearing the Wiki.
Okay.
I've had, of course, the Aviator, wear that. And I'm thinking, whatever. I had about like 6 pairs already.
What's your top three brands?
Brands?
Yeah.
Well, we're focused in on Maui Jim.
Oh, just that.
So, yeah, well, it used to
okay.
be. What happened is when the Great Recession came, the focus went from high fashion into performance. So, because I used to sell, Gucci's, Versace's, Prada's, but then, so it used to be like in back in the day, you would have like women would come in and they would go, what's your newest selling Gucci?
Yeah.
What's your newest? They wanted the newest, right? And then the Great Recession came and you never even heard them asking for Gucci anymore. It just all changed. It never came really back. So basically, if you're going to have a sunglass store today, you need just like Ray-Ban, Oakley, and Maui Jim. But I'm in Hawaii. I'm in Maui, so Maui Jim is just a killer. Yeah, there's no comparison. So I'm like 90% Maui Jim. And of course, I had a Maui Jim only store, which got burned down in Lahaina. And then my other store, that was 100%. My other store was 90%. That was on Front Street. That also got burned down. So anyway, small business. So here's what you got to know. If you want to go into small business, what you do is you take your life. So you take your life, you put it into a nice little ball, and then you find yourself a garbage can, and you throw it in there, because that's what's going to happen to you. I mean, you're going to live that small business. I mean, and you're going to fight. If you're not ready to fight and devote your life to that business, even if you do that, you might not make it. But if you don't do that, I mean, you're up against tremendous forces out there, really. And basically, there's kind of like a 3-year when you first get in. Now, I'm not talking about online only with the low rent and the payroll, which is really, I don't know, you're more in the realm of mom and pop, which is a little different than what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about like small business where you want to have like multiple locations, multiple venues spread out a little bit. That's different. I mean, if you're going to do mom and pop, well, it's going to be you and your wife, your husband, your family. That's kind of more. But if you're going to do like a multiple, you're going to have to be hiring managers. You're going to need a regional. You're going to need other things that are going to really add to your expenses. So the first year, you're really going to be lucky that you can make it. you're under tremendous pressure. Your expenses, they're coming. They're just rolling in, and all your revenue is usually just gobbled up, and you're in a deep. I mean, you're in a deep sweat. You believe me. You're. I don't know if you're religious. You're in the synagogue or the church. Or you're praying a lot. There's a lot of praying you're going to be doing. Yeah. Then you're in the second year. You're kind of coming out of it yet, but it's still tricky. You're making, hopefully you're making a little, or you're even, it's rough still. The third year, if you're still there, you're starting to come out. You're going to start. Yeah, you're going to start making, and then you're going to be on your way. And then, I mean, you could have things, my brother and I, my brother is an optometrist, probably the finest optometrist. I'll put him up against anybody. So he was a private pilot and an optometrist. So we opened up Pilot's Vision Center. And then we were in the U.S. Air Terminal, and they crashed 3 times in a year and a half back in the day. So we went from like making $40,000 a month to $4,000 a month. And like I had to let go of the staff. I had to work there by myself for like a year and a half straight, from like 8 in the morning till 9 at night. So there's other factors besides, there's external factors that are come into play in your business you can't see. I mean, you talk about, I went through 9/11, the Great Recession, COVID. It had nothing to do with me, with my own personal business. I was running fine. Everything was going great. And all of a sudden the rug gets pulled out on you. What are you going to do then? Who do you think's going to help you then? Nobody's going to help you. I mean, you're in deep shit. And I know, I could tell you, I mean, I managed, thank God, to survive. But I know, I'm talking to you. I know there's a lot out there. Homes lost, businesses gone, your whole life. I mean, I was in a car with an Uber driver. He had a restaurant. He's driving Uber. Who helped him? So it's very, very rough. Very rough. First thing you got to do, you got to read your lease. I mean, you better read that lease. If you're new, I suggest you get a lawyer, pay him. If you don't have an attorney, I'll talk about that a little later, but you better read, because that landlord, I mean, wherever you are, they're going to hold you to your lease. You're not going to have, your empathy, what's right and wrong, you could just throw that out the window. That's not going to fly. I had a situation in San Francisco, LLC, with Inc. and whatever, and this guy had property. He didn't care. He went after me. Luckily, thank God, I had a great attorney. It was released, whatever. But, I mean, you could get lucky. I mean, I had a great landlord, the Weinberg Foundation, which is a charitable foundation. They give like $100 million. It's a charter in there, and they worked with me. But others, they're not. They're not, which goes to the next point, which is whatever you can do, if you can do it, you want to sign that lease as an LLC. And you better be incorporated, by the way. If you're not incorporated, you're Nimrod. Don't be doing this. I mean, you don't know what the hell you're doing. Go do something else. You want to be an LLC, but as a small business, they're going to want you to sign that lease personally. If you put your name on that lease, that means if you fail, you are responsible for those payments on that rent. And they're coming after you, whatever you own. That's now tied. That's not just the business. That's you. You put yourself on that line. So you really try. It's not going to be easy. Believe me, as a small business, landlords, they see, because they're indebted to the banks. And the banks want to make sure they get paid. So they want publicly traded companies in that thing, especially if you're in a good mall. So it's not that easy. Maybe you could do what's called a good guy clause. You could do that. So let's say you have a 5-year lease. You could say, okay, if I pay my rent on time for 3 years, then remove me personally from the lease and then make it a corporate thing. You could most likely get, it's not easy either. You could try. That's my advice. Okay. Be aware, you're going to most likely, I would say, unless you're in a strip mall, you're going to have to pay a percentage, which is like a break point on your rent. So basically, you never want to pay more than 10. Don't ever do that. A good is, 8. 8 is good. If they're most likely going to want 10. So just be aware of that you're going to have to, it's another thing. Read that lease. Know what your break point is, what your monthly rent is versus your percentage. You want to really be aware of it, And by the way, if whatever it is, your base rent has to be paid. So it's not, so like if your percentage is lower than your base rent, you're paying the base rent. That's on you no matter what happens, which goes back again to the personal guarantee, which you're on the hook for. You want to know about that. Next, CAM, Common Area Maintenance. So that's a pass-through. It's going to be your property taxes. It's going to be what it is, your maintenance. Let's say the janitorial, the security, the gardening in the mall, whatever that is. They're going to pass that through, and then there's going to be a percentage based on your square feet of your space of how much you're going to pay. And they're going to give you a statement at the end of the year, and then they're going to reconcile if your monthly is more or less than what they've allocated. Now, they did something that I don't know exactly when it happened, and I mean, it's not really kosher, but this is what they do. And you're not going to be able to negotiate. It's they're going to hold to that. They're going to take the salaries of the people that work for the landlord in the mall, and they're going to add that to the common area maintenance and charge that as well. It's supposed to be a pass-through, but this is like a newer thing. I don't know. It could be like 15 years. I don't know when they added it, but I noticed it. I never had it back in the early, but that became something. And then, not only that, they're going to take the staff in their corporate offices of wherever that is, and they're going to add that as well. And they could even take a nominal small percentage and add that as just an add-on. So you got to know this, which I'm saying, you better read your lease and you better run these numbers before so because later, if you're going to get a hit with it and you go, oh, I didn't know that, and you're going to try to, it's not working. You got to know that. All right? Now, lastly, and the most important thing, you need a great accountant. And the most important thing, you better have a good attorney, because otherwise you're going to be roadkill. They're gonna roll right over you. I had something where I was in the outlet mall in Lahaina, and they were they went to it was a regular mall, then it became an outlet mall, and I was there, and then all of a sudden one of the big corporations in the world came and said they're only going into the mall if I leave. That's right. That's how they play. It's hardball out there. So I had a great attorney. I stopped that crap, and they didn't go in and I stayed. So you must get a great lawyer. Do not go into business without a great accountant and a great lawyer. 100% for sure. So those are my tips. Those, I've been doing this a long time, and I hope it helps. And that's it for me. And as always, how do I end every podcast, my friend Christian? God bless America. You're damn right. I'm out.